There seems to be a pandemic of crime. A pandemic of crime. As you said for yourself, Jamaica just passed it. Barbados has issues. There's a pandemic. And I think the next CARICOM heads of government ministers, prime ministers have to sit down and make the discussion of crime a priority.
There is evidence to suggest that crime numbers increased during the pandemic worldwide. But did the pandemic keep some offenses under wraps? Although St. Lucia has recorded one of its most violent periods in the past 5 years dating back to 2017, some also argue that crime numbers also soared following the relaxation of pandemic restrictions and protocols. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, who has expressed concern about the crime levels, also urged individuals to refrain from fear-mongering.
The crime situation is something none of us are happy about. It must improve. But we cannot create an environment of fear in the country. That's what I was saying. An environment of fear doesn't help anybody. We have to be alert. Law enforcement must do all they can do. We as citizens must do all we can do, but we cannot create an environment of fear. That's all I was saying. And when it doesn't help anybody, we cannot politicize it or be even happy when there's a crime and say, oh, crime's still happening and you're in government. We can't do that. It doesn't help. I've said to you several times, governments change. I will not be prime minister all my life. There'll be another prime minister at some point. Government changes. So there are certain things we cannot gloat about. There's no need to gloat about crime. What I was saying is that we need not to create an environment where there is fear in the country that will stop economic growth and economic activity.
Pierre wants the police to not let up on crime-fighting efforts and maximize the resources in the toolkit to bring criminals to justice. The government recently passed the toughest gun control laws in the nation's history, with life sentences on the statute books. However, not even the stiffest of penalties has resulted in a change in behavior. The Prime Minister warns young people who may be toying with the idea of illegal gun possession of the dire consequences.
I think the police are doing a very good job. They have to continue. The police must not relax. They have to push with the resources that they have to ensure that these crime. But again, I want to warn the young people of St. Lucia, having a firearm can land you in jail for 25 years. I want to warn them. Having a firearm can land you in prison for 25 years. Even though you did not use it, once you have it, the law says you can be in prison for 25 years. So I'm begging young people, please avoid having firearms. It's not worth it.
Operation matters are the remit of the police force, but the government is constantly tweaking policy. The Prime Minister is set to meet with the police commissioner this week to discuss the crime situation.
We are giving the police 2 more vehicles for patrol purposes. We're going to get 2 more vehicles shortly. They have an operational plan for the season, so we hope all works well.
Pierre says the government will continue to provide the necessary resources to the officers of the police force to do their job. St. Lucia's Forensic Science Laboratory recently became the first and currently the only accredited forensic laboratory in the OECS and the second in the entire CARICOM region. Authorities hope the analysis of physical evidence will help land convictions in the courts. Gino Filippi, HTS News Force.